alleging that Wendy Williams is going to be writing a tell-all book in regards to Diddy and his escapade. Jaguar Wright said on a recent YouTube video that Diddy is not only in London but in hospital and that Bat is worn out.
Doubt more than me.
At the time of?
Nobody. No, still.
Yes, to this day.
Still. Listen to me. I don't give a how I feel about you. For me to have bad feelings about someone and not acknowledge art and its greatness or at its finest is hating.
In California, when Mace went to basketball game, they told him, we want Puff. I believe that women have been coming out, but nobody was listening. You understand? Nobody wanted to. I seen Trump, Diddy, Al Sharpton, and Wendy Williams in the same room having a conversation together.
It's getting hot outdoors, so grab your wigs. People on the street are saying that Diddy is genuinely experiencing some serious issues. This story is wilder than your last Friday night when Diddy got jumped into the hospital and begged for mercy. It sounds like a plot twist from a juicy reality show, but it's real life, honey, and we're about to spill all the tea on what really happened to Diddy and why he's suddenly singing a different song. We're talking about hospitalization and pleading for mercy. And yes, Cha, the artist who has been at the top of his game for decades, is now asking for a break. You won't want to miss this, I assure you.
They're eating on her while she was asleep. You know, snacking on his bitch, killing people cats. And guess what? They wouldn't give her a restraining order. They just told her to stay away from Beyonce and work for somebody else. Guess what? She's having a hard time finding work too. Which is interesting because she's a brilliant musician and she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls. Impulse control issues? I don't know. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston. Why did that house burn up? Who goes to their childhood house for a visit and the shit goes up in flames?
That was very weird. The next day, within the week?
No, the next day.
The next day.
And still, no real investigation on how the house just went up in flames.
Man.
I guess they paid y'all off. Like they paid y'all off for that Astro World.
So, let me ask you.
Texas politics.
Yeah, Texas politics, man. It's that right there. We're gonna talk about the episode, but for right now, I just got to get your take on when we see a Killer Mike win 3 Grammys
and get arrested immediately after because Jay-Z paid somebody up just so he couldn't have a good night. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo. Oof. I don't give no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary aneurysm, just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the best.
The streets are bustling with activity as people try to comprehend how the powerful have fallen. So let's get down to the specifics of what happened to send Essie Combs to the hospital, where he is pleading for pardon. According to the news, Diddy was out and about doing his thing at a Classy Law nightclub when things took a wild turn. It appears he got into a heated argument with some unknown people who might be rival musicians or even some old enemies we don't know about yet, but chilly. It didn't end with just words, though, as sources claimed Diddy was cornered in a back alley behind a club. This wasn't just a little brawl. Multiple attackers were attacking him as if he owed them money or something. Danny suffered some serious injuries, including bruised ribs, a black eye, and possibly some broken bones. There are many possibilities being circulated by the rumor mill. Some people claim it has to do with the recent lawsuits he's been involved in, while some believe it could be revenge from someone in the music business he's crossed paths with over the years. You know, Diddy's made his fair share of enemies climbing that music mountain. Others think it could be something entirely different, like a transaction going through or even a personal grudge we're not yet aware of.
It's a lawsuit, right? Lil Rod, he alleges that, Diddy told him personally that he had sex with Usher. And when you look at the lawsuit, even though they got Usher's name redacted, you could tell who it is because they described him as the guy that performed at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, we all know who that is, but how you feel about that, man?
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy camp?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows, the white guy with the curly hair. What's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp. But yet and still you praise him.
Damn, man, and you said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
Whatever the reason, it's clear that Diddy is in a tough spot right now. The hospital isn't exactly a luxury getaway. And from what we hear, he's not just in physical pain. This whole situation has really shaken him up. People close to him say he's been strangely quiet since he was admitted, with no social media posts or public statements, which isn't like the Diddy we know. Normally, he's quick with a clever comment or a confident attitude, but now he's allegedly asking for protection and nearly begging for mercy from whoever is after him. It seems like he's scared this could be the start of something much worse, which worries a lot of people. If someone can get to Diddy like this, it raises serious questions about business safety. So now we're left with more questions than answers. Who hit Diddy? Why did they do it? And what's going to happen next? This story is far from over, and it looks like Diddy is playing defense for maybe the first time in his life. Stay tuned, because this story is still unfolding.
I think the Puff had different phases of his life that y'all don't understand. And let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it. You understand? First you got Puff Daddy, who had Daddy's house and the parties and things like that. Then you had Puff. You understand? Then you had Diddy. Then you had Brother Love, and then Love. I had Puff around the stage when he was Puff Daddy and Puff and some of Diddy. Not the new Diddy that they gave the diddler and everything like that. So he ain't the guy, he wasn't the guy that y'all see now back then when he was in Harlem. You understand? He was the guy that our crew chased down the street because he was trying to be a part of it, and he ran. You understand? We brought him back, beat the shit out of him, hit him in the head with cake spoon, with champagne and all the other shit like that. He was wanted to be a part of us. He was the one who used to beg, don't go to the party, please, please, I'm on my way, so he could walk in the club with us. I learned from his pops from one of the biggest gangsters in Harlem, New York Freddie, right? The police said they went to New York Freddie's house in Mount Vernon, and he had stacks of $100 bills 6 feet high in the whole basement. That's how much money he had. He was the one who started Russell Simmons. They won't tell y'all this story. He was the one who started Russell Simmons and them into the music business because he had a record label first that Russell Simmons used to work for. So now, New York Freddie want to talk to Big Gene. One of his lieutenants back in the day, if you can see his story, his name was Omar. Omar was our OG from 112th Street, 114th Street. They used to come around with us. They used to love the food I used to cook because I'm a hell of a cook. You know what I'm saying? So now, Omar said, yo, New York Freddie want to talk to you, Gene. I told him he used to bodyguard Puff because he want to talk to Puff and tell Puff the real story about his father. So I said, yeah, all right. So I'm like, New York Freddie. I knew my history. I knew what New York Freddie was about. So I went and took a meeting with New York Freddie. He said, New York Freddie said to me, he said, yo, man, I've been trying to get in touch with Puff. Russell Simmons, none of them would take my calls. It's all good. He said, I want to tell Puff the true story about his father. And I said, yo, all right, okay, you know what's up. You're gonna listen to those guys. You understand? So New York Freddie said, Puff father sold some drugs to one of their undercover guys. You understand? They arrested him because they had cops on the payroll to, you know, see what you about. He said they brought him the tape and the written confession that Puff father signed. So I was like, yo, he said, we gave him $10,000. It was a New York City cop. He worked for them. He said, we gave him $10,000. Puff father said that he only told because he had a wedding to go to, which I thought was hilarious. You understand? This is coming from New York Freddie. So he said that I wanted to talk to Puff, but he wouldn't take my calls, he wouldn't see me. He said, I wanted to let him know that I told the guy Y'all got to get rid of him.
You know, the lady has always lived a lavish lifestyle, but lately, the man has been in more legal trouble than a teabag. Let's travel back in time and talk about why Diddy, the music mogul, has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Remember when Diddy was all about the beat and the bling? Those days are long gone, honey. The streets are saying that his empire is starting to fall apart, and it's not just because of his fashion choices. There have been serious allegations of abuse and other wild things. The internet went crazy after all this drama with his ex Cassie. Just when you thought things couldn't get any messier, fans have surrounded Diddy's business, mostly to say they don't support the CRA. It's like opening Pandora's box only to find out there are more scandals. Diddy has been embroiled in legal drama unrelated to his love life. We're talking about lawsuits, investigations, and enough paperwork to wallpaper a mansion. People are staring at Diddy strangely as a result of all this trouble. You know how it goes. One minute you're the biggest thing in the world, and the next you're trending for all the wrong reasons. His reputation has taken more hits than a boxing club punching bag. And let's not even begin to discuss the damage this is doing to his business, where brands are bailing out faster than you can say bad boy for life. It's like watching a slow motion.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, I go into rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
This is a game we in. We in a fucking hustle. We in a grind. Everybody ain't 50 Cent. Everybody ain't Puff. Everybody ain't Jay-Z. You gotta stick with a nigga. Grind with a nigga. You gotta do your job. Whatever your record is, if I was a promo man, whatever record you give me, I'ma get played. Cause my tongue gonna move that quick. I'ma get the shit done whether niggas like it, love it, hate it.
Monster. At this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, And you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment. Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book, Bling.
Social media has taken over, like Times Square on New Year's Eve, with everyone and their mother weighing in. Some people are amazed. The people of Chell have been having a field day. Is Kara picking Diddy up from the streets? Or is there more to this story? Diddy has sent out invitations to his takedown party. While some claim to have seen it coming, others are only in it for the drama. The truth is, all of this controversy may explain why Diddy is currently in the hospital pleading for mercy. Diddy's fall from grace is undoubtedly a total collapse into the Hollywood hills, rather than merely an error in judgment.
So, you can't go to the boss because the boss is fucking you. And the boss's boss don't get no fuck. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come.
So let me ask you, because I look at Gabriel Union, and when you mention things like Jay-Z's time is coming for him, then I look at Beyonce, and I say that women do have a
that country album, and any of you that buy that shit are stupid as shit.
You don't give it no
trap
credit.
music with goddamn a holster and a hat.
But she remade Jolene.
That bitch. I'm gonna tell you the song she should have remade. It's a hit. It would have done great for her. She should have tried it on. Tammy Wynette. Classic. Stand by your man. Don't act like you don't know that now. Remake that. Stand by that. That's a real country hit. Jolene, nice. But it has a ring to it. Stand by your man. Yeah. Whoops you and disrespect you with other like Kathy Coriana White.
All right, well, let's do it like
who was
this.
actually carrying his baby while you was faking it. Why your husband don't want to put his seed inside of you? He put it in everybody else? Wild in this world, yo.
It's funny, you open up Beyonce's internet, it just gets weird.
Beyonce's internet.
That's what we're calling
that
it.
belongs to the devil. Unless you calling that the devil, she ain't nothing but an employee.
Oh.
And half of which dumbass bitch.
So, it's funny that it's crazy you say these things.
Why don't nobody want to accept that bitch?
I think
she went and killed the girl Cats.
Okay.
A girl went to court and charged her with extreme witchcraft. She was hypnotized. She was drugged.
The problem about August Street is that, contrary to what you might have believed, we're not done yet. Let's talk about Diddy, who is more juicy than a peach. According to sources, Diddy, who once ruled the music industry, is now in charge. You might be wondering who Diddy is pleading with to chill. His extensive list includes former business partners, competing music executives, and even some of his former employees. The man is making more calls than a commission-based telemarketer. It appears as though he is trying to reconcile every disagreement he has ever had at once. However, the truth is that improving the streets isn't the only goal. Our son is pleading for mercy while in the hospital, looking like he just finished 10 rounds with a bulldozer fear. However, Diddy is reaching out to everyone he knows in an attempt to patch things up. According to rumors, Diddy is frantically trying to buy protection, offering deals, money, or whatever it takes to keep him safe. And let's not forget about his public image. He's ready for that smoke, nervous that whoever jumped him would come back for round 2, and his name is currently more brittle than a house of cards in a hurricane. Diddy implores PR firms to save his crumbling reputation as if it were his life.
Guess what? They wouldn't give her the restraining order. They just told her to stay away from Beyonce and work for somebody else. Guess what? She's having a hard time finding work too. Which is interesting because she's a brilliant musician and she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls. Impulse control issues? I don't know. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston. Why did that house burn up? Who the fuck goes to their childhood house for a visit and the shit goes up in flames?
That was very weird. The next day, within the week?
And no, the next day.
The next day.
And still, no real investigation on how the house just went up in flames.
Man.
I guess they paid y'all off. Like they paid y'all off for that Astro World.
So, let me ask you.
Texas politics.
Yeah, Texas politics, man. It's that right there. We're gonna talk about the episode, but for right now, I just got to get your take on when we see a Killer Mike win 3 Grammys
and get arrested immediately after because Jay-Z paid somebody up just so he couldn't have a good night. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo.
Oof.
I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
Diddy has been so successful for so long that it's hard to imagine him anywhere else. But with all this mess in AH, he might have to trade in his designer suits for a regular 9-to-5 if he isn't careful. And let's not forget about the consequences. The million-dollar question is, however, is it too little, too late? The music industry isn't exactly known for its forgiveness. And despite all of the accusations circling, some people are saying Diddy is getting particularly what he deserves. We are watching Diddy because no one is trying to be seen with him right now, unless they want to lose their own reputation. It's quite the journey from "can't nobody hold me down" to "someone please help me up." At this point, all of us are just spectators. Will Diddy's desperation make him work? Or is this the end for him? Hot brands are dropping him like a hot potato. His business dealings are drying up like a puddle in the desert. His fancy parties are forgetting him. The streets are undoubtedly being observed, and they haven't forgotten anything.
Man, you heard about these radio stations? They not even playing Diddy music no more, yo.
Because you got to realize this, man. People that advertise, they don't want to be a part of something that may have been sex trafficking, pedophilia. They didn't say anything about pedophilia, thank God. But with this sex trafficking, this Me Too shit, the advertisers don't want their advertisement in those slots where his music play. Remember when they took all Bill Cosby, the Huxtables off the air? Now all of a sudden it comes back on the air. It's the same thing. They don't want his music to play in the same time slot that they're doing advertisement in. So what they do, they take it off the air. It's a damn shame that his name will go down as the laughingstock of hip hop. That's probably one of the worst. I can't say anybody who have fell from grace. Even though if he don't lose all his money and everything like that, his fall from grace will be harder than anybody we would know in hip hop. Anybody we've known in hip hop, his fall from grace will be worse than anybody. Because he would be the laughing stock. And everybody would be doing comedy skits. And you gotta realize, even before all that started, Dave Chappelle was one of the best who did them.
Yeah, unfortunate, man. I just feel bad for all the artists that made timeless records over there, man. They gotta, get punished in a sense.
He knew it was coming down the thing. That's why he gave them their publishing. My man, listen to me, bro. What happens is this, bro. All these big companies, and this happened to athletes also, they have investigators. These investigators are paid to investigate you whether you're doing something or not. Do you understand that? The NBA have investigators on players, whether they doing something or not, and they report back to the commissioner. Hey, was seen at this club, and they were doing this and doing this and doing that, and you don't even know you being investigated for nothing. But that's what they paid to do. These companies who give Diddy $200, $300 million a year to market they have investigators. So he don't bring back no bad name on the company. They had investigated him and they told him he already knew a lot of this was coming down. That's why they pay these people, bro. They got in touch with his publicist or some stuff like that. Yo, your boy don't look good. If he don't straighten this out, we might not have to pull back, call different people. Yo, you notice that he started talking about Cassie way before she came out with the lawsuit. And hit him with the lawsuit. With two other women or whatever like that. I don't know if he was with Kim, but he was with Young Miami and stuff like that, and gave her a shout out at the Grammys. You think he didn't know that? You didn't think he didn't know what's coming with the lawsuit? What was going down? 3 to 6 months before we even knew anything about it. So let me go get let me go get them their publishing back. It'll look like I'm doing something good, but I'm giving it back because I know that shit ain't gonna be worth nothing no way. I flipped on him. I was like, yo, my man, you from Harlem. Don't you know these cats out here will tear your head down to the white meat? What's wrong with you? It's not sweet out here, bro. Then Mace said, yeah, I know. And he told me about the basketball game or something that he went to. And how they was telling him that they wanted Big and Puff, and he was all right, he was good. So Mace did not show up to the party the night Big got murdered. He said he was in the room with Brandy, right? I called Mace that morning, and me and Mace spoke, and then he was telling me all them bloods and everything that was out there. So I was with a couple of dudes that were from Black Hands, which is a part of the Black Guerrilla Mafia. You know what I mean? And we just went to the end of his hallway. He said there was a lot of bloods out there. And there's some dudes out there I wasn't recognizing. You know, I recognized, but I don't think it was, you know, he said it was like 70. When I got there, it wasn't that many dudes out there like that. But he could have seen 70, 17, 20, 30. When you think somebody trying to get you, and niggas is running the hallways because they know Bad Boy was staying there, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of dudes. So when I got there with my team and everything, dudes who came to the hospital with us, we was good. So all we had to do was put him in a cab or car service so he can go where he had to go. And that was it. To me, it wasn't nothing. You understand? But to somebody in fear of their life, I can understand where he coming from. You feel me? You know, I'm already, you know, we already lost Big. We on high alert. You understand? And now I got some dudes with me that's about it. That's what they do. You know, I was with Chaz Williams and a couple of his dudes from out there in Cali. You understand? That belong to the Guerrilla, I think it's the Black Guerrilla Mafia or family. And then I'm with Black Hands. And Chaz had a couple of his dudes. So I'm good. So we just made sure Mace was good.
Yeah, he said that she was the only one that came to get him. He said that, you know, everybody that he went to LA with, he ain't leave with, you know. He said that everybody else was looking out for themselves.
Well, Puff went to San Diego and they put him on a jet about 2 hours after Big died. You know what I mean? So Clarence Avant and what's his name? Clarence Avant and Andre Harrell made sure we did that. I was supposed to go on the plane with him, but I was like, nah, I ain't effing with you, bro. I'm out of here. So I went with the thing because we was gonna follow him that whole 120 miles. And he said, no, we ain't need all that. So I didn't understand that. So I just jumped in the car with Chaz and the other teams and we went back to the hotel and then got that call from Mace early and I called them and they came back over with me and we went on and did what we had to do.
But one thing that did caught my attention, because this story went viral, but I did notice a whole lot of big media outlets, when they was reporting about this story, they all were saying that Mace was lying.
Nah, Mace ain't, you know, they might, you gotta understand when you scared and you see, you know, a bunch of dudes, whether he said it was 70, 30, 20, 10, you in fear of your life. You understand? So when you in fear of your life and then everybody that you come with ain't there no more and ain't picking up their phone, you're gonna look, you know, you're gonna feel a certain way. I can understand where he coming from. Or I can say I feel where he coming from. But every time he called me, I picked up my phone. I'm gonna pick up my phone. Cause all us should have been going back home. I gotta live with that.
It's anyone's guess at this point whether Muggle will rise to the surface like a rubber band or fall to the bottom of the Chilean Ocean quicker than a lead weight due to the mounting litigation. The deadly vultures are hovering, and you can bet they smell blood in the water. You thought the Diddy drama was over. The streets are buzzing with anticipation for what is ahead for our followers, but we're just getting started. The entertainment world is watching Diddy and isn't exactly feeling forgiving at the moment. Don't even mention his empire, which seems as solid as Jenga tower after an earthquake. He may be wearing a courtroom uniform instead of designer clothes. DA's legacy is a shambles, with less hanging weight than a Fashion Week model. Will he become a music superstar or just another broken-hearted CB?